Hi, this is Rob. I'm going to go over how to shoot a 3x3 panel on the DJI Osmo Pocket video camera. I will be taking a panel 3x3 of this building. It is a City Hall building in Valencia, Spain. What is a 3x3 panel? The DJI Osmo Pocket has a panel mode for shooting panoramic photos. There are two types of panoramic photos that the Osmo Pocket shoots: the traditional 180-degree panoramic photo and this new 3x3 panoramic photo. For the 3x3, the DJI takes 3 photos across the top of the subject, 3 photos across the middle of the subject, and 3 photos across the bottom of the subject. Then, using the DJI Mimo app on a smart device, the app will merge those 9 photos into a single photo. In this video, I will show the Pro menu settings for the panel mode and the regular menu settings for the panel mode on the Osmo Pocket itself. Then, how to merge the 9 photos using the DJI Mimo app and using Photo Merge in Photoshop. I will also show where the panel images are stored in the Mimo app. I will also talk about the image file sizes and talk about shooting raw image files with the Osmo Pocket, and cover a little about shooting a 180-degree panoramic on the Osmo Pocket. Using the Pro menu, attach your Osmo Pocket to a smart device that has the DJI Mimo app. Turn on the Osmo Pocket and the app will automatically start up. The different shooting modes are located on the right here. We know we are in the panel mode when you see panel in yellow here. There are going to be 2 groups of Pro settings on this mode. First group of settings are here on the left. The second group of settings are located by tapping these 3 dots here. First, we will start with this group here. Tapping on this top icon here. These 2 icons pop out. The running man icon is for fast follow and slow follow. Fast follow allows the gimbal to react and move faster, but the gimbal will move suddenly. Slow follow allows the gimbal to move slow, thus more smooth. This setting does not affect shooting panoramic photos, so it does not matter if you have fast follow or slow follow set. The next icon here also does not affect the panel mode. The gimbal on the DJI Osmo Pocket has 3 axes: a pan, tilt, and row axis. This icon will give you some control on which axis will do the following. I'll tap on it. Tilt lock, only the pan axis follows. I'll tap on it again. This is FPV. FPV stands for first person view. All 3 axes will follow. I'll tap on it again. Follow. The pan and tilt axis will follow. As I said before, this does not affect the panel mode. It does not matter which setting you have here for panoramic shooting. Tapping on this part of the screen to exit this setting. Tap on this auto icon here. This pops up. Right now we are in auto mode for ISO and shutter speed. There is no aperture setting because the Osmo Pocket has a fixed lens at f2.0. Tapping here at M for manual. We can set the ISO to auto or from 100 to 3200. The shutter speed. We can set from 8 minutes to 1/8,000th of a second. An 8-minute shutter for a 9-photo panoramic would be a total of 72 minutes, which is 1 hour and 12 minutes. That would be an interesting photography experiment, but not for me. I'm going to go back to auto and tap here to exit this setting. The next icon here. These are the 2 types of panoramic shots. This one is for the 9-photo 3x3 panel, and this one is for the 4-photo 180-degree traditional panoramic photo. We'll tap on the 3x3 icon. Tap on the 3 dots below to go to the next group of settings in the panel mode. Tap on the Pro mode here. We are already in the Pro mode because it is in blue, and we are in this setting here because it is in blue. Photo format. We have a choice between JPEG or JPEG plus RAW. Each JPEG photo for the 3x3 panel will be a 4000 by 3000 pixels at 72 pixels per inch. But the resulting panel image that the DJI Mimo app will produce for the 3x3 panel will be a 2343 by 1690 pixels at 72 pixels per inch. So if you want a panel image at a higher resolution, then choose JPEG plus RAW. The RAW files on the Osmo Pocket are DNG RAW files. DNG stands for digital negative. DNG is a standard that all photo editing software that can edit RAW will be able to work with DNG RAW files. Next is white balance. You have all the standard settings for white balance, including a custom white balance, which goes from 2000 Kelvin to 10,000 Kelvin. Anti-flicker. This is for video modes when shooting indoors. This will not affect the panel images. Use 60 Hz for the USA and 50 Hz for many other countries around the world. Grid lines. If you're going to use your smart device, this will help you get your horizontals and verticals correct when you compose the shot. Overexposure tip. This is mainly for video modes, but if you're going to use a smart device to compose and take the shot, this will turn on or off those black and white zebras that show which part of the image will be overexposed. Histogram. You have a histogram on your smart device screen. Histogram is a graphical representation of the pixels exposed in your image. The left side of the histogram represents the blacks or shadows, the right side represents the highlights or bright areas, and the middle section is midtones. A histogram can help you get a correct exposure. Focus modes. There are two types of focus modes available, AFC and AFS. AFC is autofocus continuous. This focus is used when the subject is moving. However, it may hunt for a focus in high contrast situations. AFS is autofocus single. It is used when your subject is stationary. So for shooting panel, you may want to use AFS. You can lock a focus on your subject by pressing and holding on the smart device screen. Next icon is this one here. Gimbal Easy Control and Gimbal Calibration. Gimbal Easy Control is not used in panels, but you can leave it on. Gimbal Easy Control allows you to control the gimbal by dragging on the smart screen device. Gimbal Auto Calibration. Tap here to calibrate your gimbal, but you need to place the Osmo Pocket on a flat horizontal surface first. It may be difficult to do that when the Osmo Pocket is attached to a smart device. Next icon on the bottom left. It just gives you information, and you can format your SD card. Tapping here to exit these settings. You can move the histogram where you want, or tap the X here to get rid of it. Okay, that is it for the Pro menu for the Pano mode. You can detach the Osmo Pocket from the smart device, and it will keep those Pro settings that we made. You can tell if you have the Pro settings on the Pano mode when you see this Pro here on the Osmo Pocket screen. You can even turn off the Osmo Pocket and turn it back on again, and it will keep those Pro settings. However, if you switch modes on the Osmo Pocket itself, you will get this message. And if you tap OK and switch modes, then you will lose your Pro settings that we set in the Pano mode. Adjusting panoramic settings on the Osmo Pocket itself. It is easy because you only have one setting. Go to Pano mode, swipe those three dots to the left, and choose which type of panel you want. 180 degrees or 3x3. I will choose 3x3. Now you are ready to take a 3x3 panel shot. So I'm out here and my subject is this big city hall building for the city of Valencia, Spain. My distance from the building is a 4-lane street. I want to aim at about halfway up from the bottom of the building. That will be my starting point. Now press the red recording button once. Then the gimbal starts to move and take the photos for the 3x3 panel. Hold the camera as steady as you can as it takes the 9 shots. Back home on the computer, where are the panoramic images stored? If you take the SD card out of the Osmo Pocket and put it in your desktop computer, you will have a DCIM folder. DCIM stands for Digital Camera Images. You will see a folder called Panorama. Opening that folder up, you have other folders. So each one of the Pano mode photos that I took has its own folder. And in those folders are the 9 images that will make up the stitched 3x3 panoramic photo. But what you will not see is the final stitched 3x3 panoramic photo, because the stitching is not done in the camera, but is done in the DJI Mimo app, and I will cover that soon. As I showed before, the image size and resolution of each one of those 9 images are 4,000 by 3,000 pixels with 72 pixels per inch. taking a look at one of those 9 images in Photoshop and zooming in at 100% to see the detail in the image. Go into the DJI Mimo app with the Osmo Pocket attached to the smart device. We'll go over how to stitch a panoramic image in the Mimo app. Tap this play button in the lower right-hand corner. This will allow us to see the media on the SD card in the Osmo Pocket. Up top, you can choose to see all your media, or just the videos, or just the photos, or just the ones that you previously marked as liked or hearted. I will tap on Photos. So in Photos, this icon here means that this is a panoramic image. The only problem is that it does not indicate if this is a 3x3 panoramic or a 180-degree panoramic. And this icon here means that I previously hearted or liked this image, and if I go to the like category, I'll see all my hearted images. None of my panoramic images have been stitched together yet. The ones that have been stitched together, you will see another icon on that image indicating that it has been stitched together and is ready for viewing. I'm going to tap on this image here to begin the stitching process on that 3x3 panel. This window appears. I will not speed up the video so you can see how long it takes to process this panel image. Later in the video, I will quickly cover a 180-degree panoramic image and take a look at some of its characteristics. It is done and it automatically pops up the stitched image for your viewing. It does a really good job of stitching the image together. The only problem I've had is when you have people moving in the image, which will be common when taking panoramics in tourist areas. It has that fisheye look because I was very close to such a large building. The further away you stand from the subject, the less fisheye look you will get. On the right, if you want to heart this image. In the upper right, this icon here will give you some information about the image. Going back by tapping this icon here. This is the icon that you will see on the image indicating that this panoramic has been stitched together. Let's go into the DCIM folder on the smart device. I'm in the internal storage of my smart device. Go to the DCIM folder. There's a folder called DJI Mimo, and that is where the stitched together panel images will be located. I will open this one in Photoshop. Taking a look at the image size. As I said before, the 9 photos stitched image is smaller than just one of the 9 photos. Each of the 9 images has a size of 4000 by 3000 pixels. In Photoshop, let's do our own stitching and see what type of results we get. I'm using an older version of Photoshop, so your Photoshop menu might be a little bit different. Go to File, Automate, Photo Merge. This window pops up. We're going to upload the 9 photos that make up the panoramic. Go to Browse. My smart device is connected to my desktop. Go to the DCIM folder on your smart device. Go to the Panorama folder. The panel I want is this one. Select the 9 photos. We now have the 9 photos in the photo merge. In the layout on the left, I have tested each one of these for these 9 photos, and the auto layout works the best. Press the OK button. I am not going to speed up the video so you can see how long it takes to merge these 9 photos. If you want to skip this part, it takes 2.5 minutes to process the photo merge, or you can go in the timeline in the description below and tap on the Photoshop Photo Merge ending time code. Toward the end of the video, I will show some other examples of 3x3 panels that I took. I took both outdoor panels and indoor panels. I was surprised that the indoor panels looked good. Of course, the indoor areas were very large, but I was concerned about the lighting, thus producing blurry images. I've also been playing with the slow-mo mode on the Osmo Pocket, and I'm quite happy with the quality that I've been receiving with the slow motion videos. One day I was experimenting with the time-lapse mode. It was an indoor building with an outdoor court area, and I found this corner where I thought no one would get in my way of my shot. Sure enough, after about 2 minutes of recording, this couple came over and stood right in front of the Osmo Pocket. I had the Osmo sitting on a ledge, but the Osmo is so small that people do not notice it. I stopped recording right then. It was a shame because the time lapse was looking good, but was short, so I deleted it. I have also been experimenting with street photography and street videos with the Osmo Pocket. It is so small and new, no one knows that this is a camera. If you set the axis to follow mode, turn off the Osmo, hold the Osmo horizontally, turn on the Osmo, the gimbal will look straight ahead. Then you can look down at the Osmo viewfinder, and people are thinking that you're looking down at your smartphone or something. You can take photos and videos without looking like you are taking photos and videos. That took 2.5 minutes. Quickly taking a look at this image size. It is 8895 by 9393 pixels at 72 pixels per inch. But we need to crop this image. I'm going to use guidelines to set the boundaries where I want to crop. Then use the rectangular marquee tool to make the crop. Now check the image size again. It is 7423 by 4322 pixels at 72 pixels per inch. Compare that with what the DJI Mimo app gave us, a 2343 by 1690 pixels at 72 pixels per inch. So using Photoshop to stitch your panel will give you an image size 3 times larger. And you can get even larger image sizes if you shoot and use raw images in Photoshop to stitch your panel. You will have to use the photo settings for the Osmo Pocket and set the photo format to JPEG plus RAW to have the DNG RAW files. Okay, let's take a look at a 180-degree panel shot on the Osmo Pocket using JPEG plus RAW files. The Osmo Pocket takes 4 photos to make their 180-degree panel. Looking at those files here, I'll open up this RAW file in Photoshop. In my version of Photoshop, I have Camera Raw 6.7 plugin. The Camera Raw plugin in the Photoshop CC is a lot more advanced. Then clicking down here, you can determine the settings for the raw images that come into Photoshop. You only have to set this part once, and then every DNG file you bring into Photoshop will have those settings. Set the color space here, set 8-bit or 16-bit, set the image size, and set the image resolution. On the right, you can make image adjustments and apply those same adjustments to the other DNG files that you bring into your photo merge. I will click Cancel here. Bringing in those DNG files for photo merge. And this is the image we get. And this is the image when the DJI Mimo app processes the 180-degree panel. Okay, that is it for the instruction part. Next couple of minutes I'll show you some sample 3x3 panels that I took with the DJI Osmo Pocket. If you like this video, please give a thumbs up and please subscribe to this channel. If you have not bought an Osmo Pocket yet, please use the link in the description below and buy it from Amazon.